Welcome to the Rick Helps Real Estate Show. An hour late, evidently. You guys know I screw things up every once in a while, and evidently I put in 7:30. I set these up the night before as a rule, and I punched in 8, but it must not have catched. It's probably this finger. But as you guys proved, the show goes on without me. Really good chat session there. It was like a little frat party going on. Today we're going to talk about the pending summer crash. You've all heard it was coming, but now I don't have a sponsor for this show, but I'm going to drift off for a moment. So I used to be the director of sales for this company right here, and they have a product called Sandwich Thins, been out for a long time. And they came out with this one made with cauliflower, so it's only got 5 grams of carbs. They're awful. Sorry, guys. God, they're awful. They're just completely void of flavor. This morning, we have 13,801 listings with 5,096 new listings coming on over the past 7 days. 2,945 going under contract. Now you can see we got this little holiday dip here because Monday was a holiday, so it follows the other patterns, although it's not as broad-based, but the gap between homes going under contract and is my mic working? Yeah, there it is. And listings coming on is still pretty large. So that's definitely a trend right there. But we're going to look at some data here. We're going to talk about summer crash. Newsflash, there isn't one. Why? Because it's summer already. Price cuts are spreading like wildfire. Yeah, going to show you that. To me, a crash is anything over 30%. How much do you think location matters? Found a house near Avondale for $400,000, but same equivalent house in North Phoenix would cost $500,000, give or take. Location is everything, especially in the valley. Has a lot to do with commute times, etc. Here's how many listings that they show comparatively for the other years. Now, keep in mind, this is updated on Saturday afternoons. We're probably going to be at almost 15,000 by the weekend, maybe slightly under that. So this shows 1,277, getting up to 2019-18 levels on the number of homes available. And you can see the average sales price per square foot. Pay close attention to this. See how it's flattening? See how it's leveling off? This isn't the list pricing. This is the sales pricing. They've leveled off. Roll over to here, you can look at the monthly average sales price. We're up here in the stratosphere, and I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to come back to this in a moment, talk about this for sellers. But I want us to look at something here, and I want you to look at, this is 2008 down here on the very bottom. And this is when things absolutely fell apart. If you were a mortgage loan officer or a real estate agent, you remember the day that they called you and said, I can't fund your loan. What do you mean you can't fund my loan? Well, they've cut me off. There's no funding available. There's a credit freeze. So the mortgage officer frantically calling other sources. Yeah, I don't have anything for you either. Nothing. In one day, boom, cut you off. Yeah, I can get it for you, but you got to have the file into me by 6 o'clock tonight. And so that made things fall off. But you can see when it fell off. So take a look at here. So 2008 right here, it had a peak of 317,000 and came down to the bottom of 188. But this didn't, although it feels like it fell off a cliff, take a look. It went down 305,000, 300,000, 293. Between $5,000 and $10,000 per week is aggressive, and that's how fast it was going down. On a graph, it looks like it's kind of a sleeper, but that was really bad. Now, let's roll up to where we are here. We've obviously gone way up to a high of 598, and now we're down to 592. So it went 598, 595, that's $3,000, 592. We're coming down, but we're not coming down at that rate. Now, for the people that say that we're going to crash, I'm going to have a 30% crash this summer, I'll give you a month, end of July. Do you think we're going to go from here down to here, in the middle here, like 350,000 in a month? It's not happening, folks. Unless something catastrophic happens. And you can see that in 2008, even when they said, we got no money for you, it's cut off, it still took time, $10,000 a week, before we got down to that 45% below peak in pricing. Now, there could be a lot of things going on out there that I don't see. I can see down the street. I just can't see around the corner. I'm quoting Michael Zuber from One Rental at a Time. I love that line. North Korea could nuke, Luke Air Force Base. Who knows? All the banks could decide to close this upcoming Monday. We don't know that, but we know what we know. And right now, credit scores are still good, but people are waiting. They're priced out. They're priced out. They're sitting back. They're not on strike. They're just like, affordability has finally taken its toll. And so we're adjusting with that, and we're adjusting by seeing a lot of price reductions. But oddly enough, we're still seeing closings over list price, but not much, down to 46%. We used to be at 58, 60% up here, and now we've dropped by about 14%. But that's very selective. Kind of varies by neighborhood. Picked up a little for us appraisers. Past couple weeks have been brutal. What are you seeing on appraisals? Are they coming in short, or what do you think? Found out, surprised, there wasn't any offers other than Open Door on a house in Tolleson. It's been on the market for 20 days, and it's a decent price for this time and age. Sellers, let's talk about price for a moment, shall we? I'm going to look at this monthly average sales price here. Now, this is our peak up here, 602,000. Most of you probably bought, prior to 2019, maybe 2018, which is down here where you see my mouse. So here's some equity, right? But let's talk about what equity means. Right now, people are trying to sell their house right up here instead of going ahead and pricing it right down here to 2021 levels. Now, am I saying that that's where you need to be? No, but what's happening for sellers right now, and I'm hearing it and I'm seeing it, is they're putting the home on the market and they're saying things like, yeah, it's been on the market for X amount of days and I haven't had any showings. I'm willing to give up a little bit of my equity, but not very much of it. Here's the thing about equity, folks. It's not your equity until a buyer tells you it's your equity. That's just a number. You're looking on Zillow and you're seeing that your house is worth $600,000 because the God of all pricing says it's worth $600,000. So mentally we get adjusted and we go, I've got all this equity. Well, that ship has sailed. That equity is not yours until buyers come in and start giving you an offer price. And Jackie says, it all depends on the area. I'm still seeing areas multiple offers and over list, but not much, though there was other areas stalled out. It's going to be a micro area market. It's going to change from neighborhood to neighborhood. And hey, Dan, welcome to the party. Smack facts. I had a CMA done on local realtors, and I believe it or not, they were using duplexes for comparables on my residential. Oh, Lord, help me. I probably won't be able to get all the comments. Let me try. But so the equity, what I'm saying is that, right here, you've got a lot of equity from here to here. I had a father-in-law that used to trade commodities, and he goes, you'll never find the top, you'll never get in at the bottom. Be happy with that chunk out of the middle. Mentally, as sellers, we're looking up here and going, man, I got it. I got this equity. I'm going to sell. And then it's painful to reduce the price by $75,000. Even though you've probably got $300,000 in equity, I don't want to really turn that into $225,000. But then it all depends on what you're trying to do. If you're just trying to test the market and see if you can get that dollar amount and then park your money somewhere else and wait, great. That's a strategy a lot of people seem to be doing. Kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. A lot of people are trying to exit the market. They're going to make it worse. Just listed my Tukey home, FSBO. Oh, I got to see how that goes with FSBO. That's going to be an interesting one to watch, my friend, because the people are going to try and really pull you down as a FSBO now. So that's just kind of what happens in this cycle of the market. When you're out buzzing around in your car today, tell me how many commercials you hear that say you can get thousands above your home price, your asking price. Those are kind of starting to dwindle. Even the 3-day people are now just touting the fact that you can stay there for up to 6 months, but they're not really pushing. You can get 1,000 more for your house. There's another brokerage out there saying the same thing, but That's starting to go away. Now, there's an article here that I read this morning, which is interesting, and he goes on and on and on about the data, but I like to always go to the last line first. Focus on the future of the housing market and for myself is all about the B&B market, boring and balanced. To have that market, we need total inventory to get back up to 1.52 to 1.93 million nationally, with at least 4 months plus of supply. Then I can stop calling it a savagely unhealthy housing market. So he was talking about the rate of which housing is going up and how damaging it is, and yet we still have a housing shortage. But right now we're going through this period where interest rates have gone up combined with high prices that went up way too fast. And if we'd have just gone up at a normal scale, we'd be sitting here just humming along pretty good, but they made money too available, too cheap for too long. So sucks for sellers. We're the boss now. Yeah, the buyers. There's almost an attitude out there that says, I'm going to screw the sellers. It's a battle. Don't turn it into a battle. I saw somebody the other day. They said they wrote an offer. They got them a counter offer, and they told them to stuff it. And I said, well, don't tell them to stuff it. Try to keep the deal alive, because you never know where it's going to land. So, just be careful in our attitudes right now. When you write an offer, if it doesn't come back to where you want, then counter again. Just keep it going till it dies. Are there loan programs where the seller pays the buyer's buy down of that rate? Well, they're not necessarily programs. It's just that in an offer, you can ask them to contribute to your closing costs. If you were on the board of the Fed, would you have raised rates last year? Yes, I would have. I won't feel bad for home buyers. They've taken full advantage. They definitely got greedy, no doubt about it. California just announced another round of stimulus checks. Great way to drive down inflation, more money. Yeah, Dan, I saw that. That is just utterly ridiculous. They're calling them inflation checks. A single person get like $350, I think, a month. I mean, I don't know what happened to them that made them so flush with cash, but that's ridiculous. I also saw an article, and be careful when you see some of these headlines, an article on Channel 3 talking about rental arbitrage, that investors now are signing up for a 1-year lease on a house, and then they're subletting it out as an Airbnb. So they're making it sound like this is a really big problem. Now, I've never seen a rental agreement that lets you sublet out your house. They're probably out there, but if you are a landlord and you're planning on renting out your house, make sure that language is in there. Otherwise, somebody's just going there and hold the lease and then skim the Airbnb money off the top. But I don't think it's a big deal. I think they probably ran into about 5 homes where that's happening, and it made a fabulous news story. So you heard months of supply, get to like 3 or 4 months of supply. Where are we today? This is where we're at. We're at 1.6. So there's going to be a march to get up to there, and it's going to take some time. Look, all the numbers are not pointing to a seller's market. They're pointing to a buyer's market aggressively. We are definitely going to have a very interesting summer. Every metric is going down. Crawford Market Index is almost at 100, which is considered balanced. We're not sitting back saying that this is bad news. We're just looking and going, here we go. We finally got ourselves overpriced. We finally breached that line of affordability, and now it's adjusting. How far it adjusts, how fast people panic is anybody's guess. But that's where we're at in Phoenix right now. Making an offer on a house with no offers makes me nervous. Possible price decline. Well, look, if I'm out looking for a house right now, I'm not even going to put an offer on a house till I see it on the market for at least 15, 20 days, and I'm going to swoop in. Don't wait for the price to come to you. You go to their price. It doesn't cost you a dime if they say no. Now, don't try to absolutely lowball them, and you know right here whether or not your offer is ridiculous or not. Some people just like to try it. But don't wait for the price to come to you. If you're waiting for them to lower the price, then it's going to catch everybody else's attention. So just look at something, go, well, it's been on the market 2 weeks, which used to be pretty normal. But now if we don't get an offer on a weekend, we panic. And I've seen people say, I've been listed for a week and I had nobody come look at my house. That's price, folks. It's nothing else but price. There were 2,990 homes that went under contract last week. How come they didn't look at yours? It's price. That's a whole new gimmick. Been going on a couple of years. They teach people how to Airbnb without owning. Yeah, you get caught if you don't have that. If you have that language in your lease agreement, you're going to get spanked hard. Do you have rental inventory? Are they going up? Rental inventory is going up slowly, but only, and here's the hard part, folks. As a landlord, they weren't listing single-family houses on the MLS. Now they're starting to. So we really don't know if that number's increasing or not. We're just seeing more of them being listed. It's really hard to get actual data on rental inventory. 20% correction by December. That's pretty aggressive, my friend, but let's write that down and see how it goes. Prices are going to drop 20% by the end of the year. So if we go back to the other chart, December's here. 20% is going to be about $400,000 down here. So we're going to have to go from here down to here, which means we're going to have to be dropping at the same rate that we did in 2008. That's the million-dollar question, and I'm not sure if it's going to happen that aggressively. But that's why I don't predict long-term. I just look and say, you know, what could happen in the short term, and right now in the summertime, the wheels aren't falling off the wagon. You can still sell your home if you want to. You've just got to be better about your price. Any advice on what should I do if closing date pushback, which is after the rate lock date, rate locked by builder or lender? That's going to have to be a question for your lender, and you're probably using the builder's lender. Hard for me to answer that on my end. 20% is more like 500,000, LOL. So yeah, my calculator's right there with my finger that types 7 instead of 8. Any tips to get a bad tenant out? Well, our landlord rental rules in Arizona are in favor of the renters slightly versus California. You have to go through the process and take them to court, and it takes time because they're backlogged. And so if you've ever been down to court and seen, you know, how they get these tenants out, it's a long process. I have found that since you're already probably taking a loss because they haven't paid their rent, sometimes it's worth it for you to say, I will pay you X amount of dollars if you leave by the 15th of the month. I'll give you $1,000 to get out. And people rarely turn that down because it's going to cost you money to go to court. You're probably not going to get rent for another 2 months. They have to be 3 months late before you can even start the eviction process. So I go, and I've done that before. Hey, here, get out. And they usually take it. So my husband and I, trying to buy for 2 years, watched iBuyers beat us out every time. Then list the house for $100K more next month. I refused to even look at houses being sold by them. Hey, we have an interview coming up tomorrow night at 6 o'clock with one of the best investors out there, and she's got some great insight on what's going on and how investors look at this market. Don't miss it tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. Yes, 6, not 5. I did get the time right on that one. After doing a recent comparison, fixed an ARM with 10-year fixed, lower rate 30-year loan, it looks like the ARM fixed for 10 years is most attractive. That's not a bad loan. Fixed for 10 years, even if it resets. I mean, something's got to wiggle between now and 10 years, correct? Surprise inventory was at 417 last week. Can you tell me what it is today? How is Morrison Ranch standing? Morrison Ranch, pretty good. I have a closing there today. I think it's today. We're still waiting for... when it's over, I'll tell you the story with this lender. They only contact us like right at the end of the day. I'm trying to look up. What am I looking up here? Surprise inventory. Let me bear with me. I'm going to show you what I'm doing here. I want to get to analysis by topic, active listings by city, weekly excluding. There we go. And we're looking at surprise. Boom. Here we are. 467 compared to last year of 136. Surprise, 553 active only. You're welcome, Rick. Hard to do. Look at it. Yeah, thank you, Jack. I'm glad you're being my right-hand person here through this. I ran the numbers last night. Even with 30% correction because of my low interest rates, I would be fine. That's what you have to do, and that's why. And I keep showing this thing. I probably should sell it, but this is the analysis calculator, and for the life of me, I don't know why it's. Let me see if I can pull this out here. I think it's. I'm going to do a mouse adjustment here. No, it didn't work. Anyway, This thing is built for you to put in your purchase price here on the left-hand side in the top, and then the interest rate. And this assumes a 20% down payment. And then you can play with these scenarios down here on the right-hand side. I think prices are going to go down 30%, 5%, 10%, and it'll tell you what your payment is going to be. And you can also change the rate. If you want that, shoot me an email at rick@rickhelps.com. I'll send it out to you for free. And I won't send you a package of 408 cauliflower thins. I don't care how much flavoring you put in there. I made a turkey sandwich yesterday out of it. I thought, this is clever. These guys are onto something, low carb. Lots of actives in Surprise. Can you tell me if they've been closing a lot in Surprise? Can I get one, please? Yeah, Jackie, I'll send you that sheet if that's what you're asking for there. Seeing if they're closing a lot in Surprise, I'd have to go back and take a look at the numbers. I think it's safe to assume that, just like everything else that you've seen there, that activity's down. I mean, we're down to 2,900 contracts in our market area on a 7-day moving average, and we used to be at about 4,000. So that's spread evenly. Some areas are hurt more than others, but you can depend on the fact that no, silly, the calculator. I'm still getting calls from India wanting to buy my house. You should see how my phone lights up. Home, Queen Creek Mesa holding up? No. I've been looking at greater communities, including the 800, 900 range. Sold my home in OC, currently renting in Irvine. No, the home prices, people are reducing their pricing everywhere. Some areas not very much. Some areas they have to pull them down quite a bit. The numbers are the numbers. We no longer have 4,000 homes going under contract. We have less than 3,000. We no longer have 5,500 homes in inventory. We have almost 14,000. So everybody's going to have some pricing pressures all summer, if not up to Christmas. It all depends. If the Fed clamps down any tighter, these price reductions will accelerate. And that's what they want to do. I mean, the Fed chairman says we need a reset in housing. I don't know what his definition of reset is, but that's not a comfort zone if you're a seller. But, since we've been complaining, rightfully so, about affordability, then something has to happen. So the writing's been on the wall for a long time that we were approaching this affordability wall, but it kept going up and up and up, and we were wondering when things were going to change. And now that it's here, we're befuddled. Not really. Let's see. Anyone got any good rentals for rent and Surprise? Wow, 81 watching. Hit the like button, guys. I appreciate that, Jackie. Yeah, you guys, I should probably say I'm going to be on at 7:30 more often and then come on an hour late. So it's kind of fun. So, and I hope you like that I widened the chat area on my window here so that you can see it a little bit better, especially on the replay. Sometimes I take these and I shut them off about 3 or 4 in the afternoon, and then we relaunch it later at 6 o'clock as a replay. And that's a YouTube trick. I can let this thing run all day, but for some reason YouTube likes uploads more than they like live streams. So I don't mean to confuse anybody. So if you went to get on and it's private, you can go, damn that, Rick. Well, that's what I'm doing. We change the thumbnail, change the title, relaunch it. So if you click on it and you go, wait, I've already seen this, that's why. My realtor told me last year to hold out. I owe him big time. My neighbor bought last year and they already have buyer's remorse. It kind of all depends on your situation. If they bought last year and they got it on a low rate and they're loving their payment, then embrace the payment and ignore the equity for now, because that's going to be an equity roller coaster for a while. Buying a home is all about where do you want to live, and you want a roof over your head, and there's still demand for that. If you're comfortable with the payment, last year's rates were great. I wouldn't care if my house went down $150,000. I really wouldn't give a rip, because I'm going to buy it $150,000 cheaper at a 7.5% mortgage rate versus the probably 2.75 they got. I wouldn't have any remorse. So, Jimmy, thank you. Would love to see this channel skyrocket. Well, me too. It's fun, but I got to tell you, I started out with 250 subscribers back in 2020, and doing really terrible. If you want to entertain yourself, go back and look at some of the crap I used to put out. It took a long time to figure out how to do it, and I'm experimenting now too with a new live streaming program called EV Mux. And it's pretty cool. So I plan on using that a lot more than open-based software that I use here, not to get too techy, but I can only use this on my PC at home because it's got a lot of power and everything. But I plan on being on the road a little bit in a couple weeks, and I'll be using my laptop out of my palatial travel trailer. And so I'm looking at a different streaming software to use. And don't worry, if I'm out of town and you want to buy or sell, call Jackie. She's going to help me out here. So not sure if you answered this already. How much does location matter for equivalent houses? Avondale, North Phoenix. Yeah, B&G, I tried to touch on that. It means all the difference in the world. You can't compare the prices from the two. There's no comparison. Neighborhood is everything. Try to go out no more than a mile when you're looking at houses. Just a matter of time, this channel to take off by far. Thank you, Tyler. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate all of you watching. And I hope, let's see, I got one more. I'll take one more question here. Been a long-term viewer. Remember when there were only 5 watching? I remember that too. I remember the first time that Pat and I did a live. I said, let's go live. And we were going to do it on a Friday. We had no idea what we were doing. I didn't use any software. I just went to YouTube. I hit the live button, and we're literally staring at the screen going, I think we're live. I don't know. Hey, Pat, wait, your mic's off. And, oh, Pat, you just turned off your camera. I left it up there for all to see. So if you want to have some fun, go ahead and drill down on that one. So let's see. OG of the real estate. Yeah, Dan and I are the OGs. He's out in Chicago. Great mortgage guy. So everybody, thank you very much. Have a terrific, what is today? Today is Wednesday. I hope I close today. Just waiting for one more document. I'll tell you the story when it closes, and I know my buyer is watching, so we're going to get it done today. Talk to everybody soon.